What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a deck that is a version of what I wanted to bring you on the first day, but unfortunately my codes got a day late, and that is a deck centered around Ultra Necrozma-GX. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton, and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. And as for the question of the day, just gonna go super generic right here, and Forbidden Light has been out for about 4 or 5 days now. I can't count, I can't math anyway. So it's been out for a while. People have been able to test things out. I mean, okay, when I say a while, I mean it's been long enough where people have been able to acquire certain cards, been able to try certain decks out, different deck builds and whatnot. And so, I mean, now that you've had experience with what Forbidden Light has to offer, what is the favorite deck that is based around a card from Forbidden Light that you guys have come across, and why? As for me, honestly, while I do love this deck, and I think this is a very cool version of Ultra Necrozma, I know that most people are doing Ultra Necrozma and Malamar just because, I mean, who wouldn't? That's a great idea. It's a great idea. It has a bunch of great support for it, and it works wonderfully. So I'm trying to bring a little bit different. And while I do love this version, I have to say that my favorite deck that I have been seeing is the new Buzzwole, just overwhelm with early damage type of deck, because I mean Buzzwole now has the Beast Energy, which increases its damage by 30. It has Strong Energy, which it already had, but it boosts the damage by 20. Regirock boosts damage by 10. The new Jirachi Prism Star boosts damage by 20. And then you have Choice Band, which boosts damage against GXs by 30. So basically, for a single energy, Buzzwole just turns into an absolute powerhouse. And then even with Beast Ring, the thing with Buzzwole, if your opponent got into the late game and didn't lose that many prizes, Buzzwole had to get 3 energy powered up, which normally could be a little bit of a problem. But now with Beast Ring, if your opponent knocks out a Buzzwole, you can use multiple Beast Ring in one turn to get just an army of Buzzwole GXs or whatever else you want to attack. I mean, granted, they have to be Ultra Beasts, but you're able to just power those guys up in one turn just by Beast Ring, and now I have 4 more energy on board, and you have to deal with multiple Buzzwole. So, I mean, that's just absolutely insane. I can't wait to do it. In fact, I think I'm actually going to do that later this week, just a deck with Speed Buzzwole to hit as hard as possible early on. I don't think that's necessarily the best version of it, but, I mean, it's too fun to pass up the opportunity to do that, so I think that's what I'm going to do. And yeah, that is my favorite deck that is centered around, and I use centered around loosely because obviously Buzzwole isn't from Forbidden Light, but things like Beast Ring, Beast Energy, and Diancie all enable Buzzwole, which is why that deck is my favorite with cards from Forbidden Light. So yeah, what is your favorite deck that is centered around or heavily involved with cards from Forbidden Light? Leave that in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what types of decks you guys are trying out and what decks you guys are having success with. But anyway, on to the deck. Like I said, this is centered around Ultra Necrozma-GX 190 HP Dragon-type Pokemon with Photon Geyser for a Psychic and a Metal. This attack does 20, and then you discard all basic Psychic Energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 80 more damage for each card you discarded this way. Very reminiscent of the old, I believe it was Dragon Burst? I think it was Dragon Burst, Rayquaza EX from Dragon's Exalted way back when. Basically, it had a Fire and a Lightning, and then you could choose which energy to discard, and then for each energy you discarded from Rayquaza, you could do more damage. Basically the exact same thing, except this forces you to use Psychic Energy. Honestly, not that big of a deal. As with Rayquaza, it was normally one or the other. Just however you tailor your deck to this Mon is however you tailor your deck to Rayquaza is what you would discard. I mean, it's no different with this. You just tailor it more towards Psychic Energy. And then with Sky Scorching Light GX, you can only use this if the total number of both players' remaining prize cards is 6 or less. Put 6 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon. Basically just sets up KOs all over the board for you to be able to finish off the game. It's a great late game setup type of GX attack. However, it's kind of weird because when you get that late in the game, you kind of just want to get a big knockout, and you don't necessarily want to set up. You want to use the early game for setup. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic with this GX because it forces you to use it late game just by the condition that you use for it. But in the late game, you want to take big knockouts, and you just want to take knockouts. You don't want to necessarily be setting up for them. So it's an interesting dynamic that I'm well interested to say that for like the 17th time. I'm interested to see how that will end up working out. And now, like I said, I know everybody is putting Ultra Necrozma with Malamar, just because, I mean, they work perfectly. Ultra Necrozma discards Psychic Energy. The new Malamar, which was in the video that I did last week, just puts energy onto Necrozma from the discard pile. So, I mean, it's just a circle. Like, those two work incredible synergy with each other, and Malamar is just a stage 1. It's not a stage 2 like Metagross. So, I mean, it works very, very, very well. And I'm not saying that this version is better, per se. I actually like this version. I think it's a very cool and... yeah, I think it's a very cool version that not a lot of people would necessarily think of. Well, okay, people would obviously think about it, but I think it's something that a lot of people would overlook, just because Metagross is a lot slower. It's a stage 2, but in a deck that you can center around, well, quote-unquote center around Metagross, Ultra Necrozma just techs in nicely as another attacker, so I think that this can work out very well. So, yeah, I mean, without further ado, I'll just go into the numbers of Pokemon and what I'm using them and why. 3, Ultra Necrozma, because it is really the main attacker of this deck. Yes, I'm using more Metagross, but Metagross is kind of more of a backup attacker. Necrozma takes those big knockouts, takes the prizes, and does everything that you need. And also, Sky Scorching Light can set up for a Metagross KO, just set up the board for a Metagross KO later in the game too, so that's kind of an interesting thing that it has going on. So 3 of those because main attacker, 4/2/4 of Beldum through Metagross, because with Geotech systems you can attach a Psychic or a Metal, and would you look at that, Ultra Necrozma needs both Psychic and Metal. So it's one of those things that, like, if you have enough Metagross in play, you can just slap down an Ultra Necrozma, and even if you don't have any energy in your hand, you can just use Metagross to get the Metal energy from the discard pile and the Psychics in order to be able to attack. It's basically one of those things that normally Ultra Necrozma can potentially clunk due to its reliance on Metal energy, and if you don't draw it in the right situation, or you discard too many of them, with Malamar you can't recur them, so that's where Metagross can come in handy. It can get both the Psychic and the Metal, just depending on what situation you need. I'm running Registeel as a non-EX attacker, or non-GX attacker in this case. You will see in the first game that I ran Solgaleo. That was with my original version of Metagross. I was like, you know what, Solgaleo can take big one-hit knockouts on Hoopa and Ninetales, and granted, Registeel can take a one-hit knockout on Alolan Ninetales, so basically it's just a way of not being locked out by Safeguard. But then I realized that, okay, even though I'm running 4 Metal Energy, the odds that I'll be able to attach all of them to the Solgaleo Prism Star is very unlikely. So I just decided to go with something that's a little bit more flexible with the Registeel and still can knock out Alolan Ninetales. Yes, I do have trouble with Hoopa. I mean, I have to 2-hit KO that thing, but it also has to 2-hit KO me back, so it's just kind of a workaround, and also Registeel has the ability to accelerate energy with Turbo Arm. We have 2 Lele, and this is just the Lele into Brigette first turn. I would like to run 3 Lele and 2 Brigette, however the deck unfortunately just did not have room for it. If you really, really wanted to, you could probably sacrifice the 2 Alolan Vulpix, but personally I really like this thing and its ability to set up this deck very quickly, and also just make your opponent play an odd prize game when you let Vulpix get knocked out and then you just have Metagross and Ultra Necrozma on the board. It's really, really nice for setup early game, and can get you the Metagross more consistently than you would otherwise. So I mean, that's why I'm only running a 2/1 of Lele and Brigette, because of the little Alolan Vulpix just being able to set you up better for a late game by sacrificing just a single prize. 2 Field Blower, because Choice Band and Garbotoxin are annoying, so you want to get rid of those Choice Bands but also shut off Garbotoxin. 2 Max Potion, just to heal up things like Metagross and Ultra Necrozma, because you really don't mind discarding the Metal Energy off of Ultra Necrozma, because you can get it right back with Geotech System. This is just kind of a prize denial type of thing, and with Metagross and Ultra Necrozma being very, very bulky, this allows you to just play the prize denial. Like, yes, your opponent will be able to take a knockout on the Vulpix and take a prize. However, now they have to deal with 190 HP Ultra Necrozma that's just taking big one-hit knockouts, and then Metagross-GX with 250. It's like, yeah, you're not KOing these things. Running 4 Rare Candy, absolute max number, just because you want to get Beldum into Metagross as quickly as possible. This deck is insanely strong if it gets set up. In fact, it's probably one of the best decks in the game if fully set up. However, the weakness of this deck is the fact that you are relying on not just a single Stage 2, but multiple Stage 2s. In fact, you need to have at least 2 Metagross in play to really have a chance against the majority of meta decks. So getting them into play and getting them up as quickly as possible is the name of this game. So that's why we were running 4 Rare Candy to be able to get Beldum into Metagross as quickly as we can. 1 Rescue Stretcher as the method of recursion, as we don't mind energy in the discard pile because of Metagross. 4 Ultra Ball to guarantee get the mons we want when we want them. And then as for these supporters, 1 Brigette. Like I said, I would like to run 2, just didn't have the room in this current build. 4-3-3 of Cynthia and Sycamore. I mean, it's a line that's quite honestly been working with me. I mean, it's really just all personal preference at this point. Definitely find a line that works best for you. I just happen to like the Cynthia and Sycamore. It seems like I have the supporter that I want in the majority of situations that I want it. And then 3 Guzma, just because, I mean, Guzma is awesome, and Guzma is Guzma. Gets Pokemon from your opponent's side up into the active, and also can get your fat things like Metagross out of the active spot. 2-2 of Choice Band and Float Stone, just to give free retreat to our mons like Metagross with 3 retreat, and Registeel with 3 retreat, just get them out of there, be able to just let them take a hit and then come back out. Choice Band obviously boosts the damage output and is very significant with boosting a Photon Geyser. If you are able to only attach 2 Psychic Energies with the Choice Band, you're going to be able to hit for 210 damage, which is quite frankly a very magic number. So Choice Band is a necessity. I would like to run more, but again, not quite enough room, and also I'd rather have a little more energy for reliability. And then 4, 7 of Metal and Psychic. You could potentially get away with 3, but you guys know me. I'm paranoid about not having the energy I want when I want it, so that's why I'm playing it a little bit safer and running 4 Metal, so that I am more likely to draw into it or have it in the discard pile, have it at my disposal when I need it to. So yeah, that is the deck, and let's just go ahead and see it in action. Alrighty, we have got one against Rebo Kinder, or Reebok Inder, I don't know. But either way, they are running, I saw some fighting types, so I don't know what type of deck this is. I just saw fighting and psychic. Don't think I actually saw any darks, so I mean, that's kind of interesting. We're not going to see a Zoroark. But I do start off with an absolutely gorgeous hand. I start off with an Alolan Vulpix. I have an Ultra Necrozma. I'll be able to Lele for a Brigette. Well, hopefully if Brigitte's not prized. But even so, I will still probably be able to get a couple Beldum at the very least. I know I'll be able to get at least one because I have that Ultra Ball right there. But if I'm able to Lele into Brigette and I have a good amount of Beldum in my deck, I will be able to get a bench of 3 Beldum and an Ultra Necrozma turn 1, and actually draw right into a Beldum. So this is going to be about as ideal of a start as you can get, especially off those mulligan cards. So let's go ahead and Lele, grab the Brigette. There are 2 Beldum and 4 Metagross, so that means 1 is prized. Good to know, and I have 2 other Ultra Necrozma in my deck, so that is a good thing to keep track of, just so I don't potentially just so I know that I have all 3 of them, because, I mean, we see the Rockruff, so this is Lycanroc, meaning that I will want to attack with as many Ultra Necrozma as I can. And I even had the Metal Energy, which, I mean, is kind of, it's not necessarily expected, so it's very nice to have that. Just go ahead and get that on the field, and even if my opponent happens to be playing, like, Crushing Hammer or something to that extent, I still will be able to at least have that in the discard pile, have it as a resource for Metagross later in the game. And my opponent is unfortunately running Buzzwole, and he ends me, which is honestly, I mean, that's actually pretty solid because it gets me a fresh hand of 6. I mean, I liked my hand, but being able to have the Rescue Stretcher still in the deck is very nice, not having to get rid of it that early. So he's going to Jet Punch, almost guaranteed knock out my Vulpix, and all I need this turn is a Metang. I don't need, I mean, I'd like to get a couple Metagross up, but as long as I can just get my Beldum that's damaged out of range of another Jet Punch, then that is ultimately what I want to go for. So let's Sycamore, see what we can get, and, well, I mean, that's better than a Metang. That's a full-on Metagross. So let's go ahead and do that, and get that thing ready to go. And I could Max Potion, but I don't think I want to yet, just in case he manages to, yeah, just in case he decides to Guzma up or continue stacking up damage on the Metagross, I'm just going to hold on to the Max Potion for the time being, grab 2 Metangs with my Alolan Vulpix, and just set myself up for next turn. I mean, no matter what my opponent does, unless he somehow knocks out my Ultra Necrozma, I will be able to get an immediate response knockout onto this Alolan Vulpix. We see the Zorua get a DCE, so I mean, this is Lycanroc. This is Lycanroc, Zoroark, Buzzwole with the Ants. I mean, that's a very cool deck. I mean, I think that that might be one of the better versions of it, but I mean, like I said in the deck builder, I am just going to go ahead and what am I trying to say? I'm going to go for the speed version of Buzzwole. Wow, I just completely lost my train of thought mid-sentence, and it was just like, off the rail. But you guys know me. I'm off the rails anyway. I've lost my mind a long time ago. And unfortunately, he is going to be able to knock out my Beldum. So that's, well, get a double knockout on Beldum and Vulpix. And he evolves into another Lycanroc. That's interesting. Must be a tech around Ninetales. So, I mean, I think that's what my opponents go for. So he does get a double knockout. I'd really like to have my Rescue Stretcher, but unfortunately I do not. And I mean, that's not the end of the world, as I will be able to get another Metang up, and with Metagross, let's see, what do I have? 2. I have 2, and let's see, okay, there's that, and there's 3 Psychic and a Metal left in my deck. Good to know. So let's just go ahead and Geotech Systems, get that last. Actually, I don't even need that last Psychic Energy because I'm going to be able to knock out the Buzzwole because of my Choice Band, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and play the Registeel. Yeah, I think that's my play. Go for the Photon Geyser, knock out my opponent's Buzzwole, take 2 prizes, and yeah, I didn't need the last Psychic Energy, but I mean, there's no kill like Overkill, right? And I draw the Rare Candy 1 turn too late. If I had had that last turn, I could have been able to go into another Metagross, but unfortunately we did not get it, so I mean, we'll have to settle for a turn 3 Metagross, which I mean I'm okay with. I have 1 up, and as long as my opponent, he's got a Bloodthirsty Eyes. What's he bringing up? Brought up my Metagross, and that's okay, and he didn't even end me, so that's quite frankly the best possible situation. Because what he's going to be able to do, he's not going to be able to knock out my Metagross. I have the Max Potion and the Float Stone in my hand, so he's just going to Righteous Beating me for 120. And that's actually amazing for me, because, like I said, I have Max Potion, I have another Metagross, I have my Necrozma that's going to be able to knock out this Zoroark because I now have 2 Metagross set up, so this honestly worked out amazingly, and I even get a Sycamore for my troubles as well, so I'm quite frankly in a perfect position. Like, I think that I'm in a great spot to win this game because I was able to overcome my slow start. Buzzwole wasn't able to just overpower me, and now I have not only an Ultra Necrozma powered up, I have 2 Metagross, and I'm going to be able to get a second Ultra Necrozma to be able to finish off a Lycanroc or a Buzzwole or whatever attacker my opponent decides to go for. So let's just go ahead and Photon Geyser, knock out this Zoroark GX through the Muscle Dumbbells, take our last, or not last 2, I wish it was our last 2, take our next to last 2 prizes, and I even get a Beldum as well. So if my opponent happens to knock out this Ultra Necrozma GX, I can get a 3rd Metagross potentially. And he's getting his Lycanroc powered up on the bench. I mean, that's fine. We get the Professor Queequee. I know it's Kukui. I just like saying Queequee because... oh, whoa. Sorry about that. The Professor Kukui, and he's going to be able to do 130 damage to me, which is admirable, but unfortunately for him, that's just going to be game. So what I'm going to do, go ahead and Guzma up my opponent's Lycanroc. I had the Psychic in my hand, but again, it did not matter as I do have the Choice Band. So, I mean, even with just 2 Psychic Energies, I would have been able to KO this Lycanroc, but like I always say, there's no kill like Overkill. So we're going to get our last 2 Psychics, or put the last 2 Psychics onto Ultra Necrozma, knock out this Lycanroc, and we are able to take the game. So that was a very good Game 1, just able to show off exactly what this deck does, able to overcome him knocking out a Beldum early that I was preparing to get into a Metagross, and this shows exactly how powerful this deck is. I only needed 2 Metagross, and I was able to absolutely steamroll my opponent. Yeah, he was able to take 2 prizes early, but I mean, that's kind of what you expect with this deck. You expect to give up a prize or 2 early while you get set up, but once you're set up, all you have to do is just slap down an Ultra Necrozma. You don't even have to have it on the board previously. You just slap it down, power it up with Metagross, and then just run through your opponent like we were able to do there. So very, very solid first game, able to overcome a very good deck in Buzzwole, Lycanroc, Zoroark, and yeah, let's just go ahead and find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one against Earth ZZ, and this time I do see a Dark type. And I see a fighting, so I mean, are we just about to face another Buzzwole Zoroark? Because that'd be kind of funny and actually a little bit unnerving because Buzzwole is very strong. And we start off with... Okay, so this is less ideal than it was last game, because I mean, let's be real, last game was about as good of a start as you could possibly hope for. But it's still something that I think is manageable. So I mean, I have... Oh no. Oh no, 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 that's bad. I hate getting rid of 2 rare candy immediately. I mean, one I can work around, but 2, that's painful. That is very, very painful. So yeah, I had to get rid of 2 rare candies early. I mean, I really had no other play. I needed to get more Beldums on the board. I could have waited for my opponent to end, but I really just needed to take advantage of that turn 1 as much as I could. So yeah, he is going to actually grab the end. I wasn't expecting him to, but I mean, I'm okay with that. He Field Blowers away my Float Stone, that's fine. I was actually kind of baiting that out a little bit, just because Choice Band is going to be so necessary in this game in terms of taking out Buzzwole and Zoroark in one hit with just 2 energies, with just a 2 energy attack, or 2 energy Photon Geyser from my Ultra Necrozma. So I actually get some good stuff. So we see the Buzzwole come down. So I mean, I knew it was Buzzwole because you saw the Diancie, but I mean, it's confirmed now that it is Buzzwole. And the Zorua, if he does not retreat it out, I will actually be able to... Yeah, I'll actually be able to take a prize off of it immediately, and I don't even need to Ultra Ball for a Lele. I top deck into an N, which I'm completely okay with. I'm able to, yeah, just Photon Geyser. Yeah, so I'll definitely be able to one-shot this Zorua with a Photon Geyser, and hopefully get another Beldum or something else. And okay, I'd really like to have an Ultra Ball right now because I have the rare candy, but let's just go ahead and Photon Geyser, knock out this Zorua, take a prize, and then maybe we can just like snipe down the Diancie later in the game. Ooh, I get an Ultra Ball. So I'll potentially be able to get a Metagross next turn. He puts up the Buzzwole. I'm hoping he doesn't... Well, there's a strong energy. Please do not have the Guzma. That would make me very sad, but I mean, again, I didn't think he would have the Guzma just because... he immediately promoted the Buzzwole, and if you had the Guzma, you would want to promote the Diancie and then Guzma into Buzzwole as you knock out a Beldum. So I don't think he has that. He does. He hits the Max Elixir. That's not good. I do not want to have to deal with multiple powered up Buzzwole, but Regirock comes out too, so even just more damage. And I think this is the version I was talking about. Like, obviously we saw the Zoroark, and I don't think my version's going to have that. It's just going to be all about Buzzwole hitting hard and just speeding up that process as much as possible. So, I mean, his is a little bit more, you know, meta than mine will be. But this is kind of what I was talking about. Just get a bunch of, like, Regirock, a bunch of power-ups onto Buzzwole, and look at that. For a single energy, he Night Speared me. Or he Frost Speared, or whatever else they're calling it now. For a single energy, he was able to do that. And I top deck into a Metang. I would have liked to have that last turn, but what I think I'm going to do is probably actually just get rid of it. Let's get rid of the Lele and the Metang for the Metagross. Rare Candy the Beldum into the Metagross. And then do I want to go ahead and play my Rescue Stretcher? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Just shuffle those back into the deck so I don't necessarily draw into the Rescue Stretcher later in the game, because now that they're starting to get evolved, I'm not as worried about them anymore. And there's another Rare Candy, but what this means is I am able to get another Metagross, and dang it, if that Metal was a Psychic, I'd be able to knock out this Buzzwole right now. But unfortunately, I think I'm just going to be 10 damage short. Yeah, that's annoying. I'm going to be 10 damage short of knocking out this Buzzwole with my Ultra Necrozma, so that's not good. At this point, I should just be taking one-hit knockouts left and right, but the fact that I'm not going to be able to, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that Brooklet Hill, and then let's Photon Geyser. Just barely miss out on the knockout. It's a little bit annoying, but regardless, I'm still in a good spot. 'Cause, I mean, I have the 2 Metagross. I have a supporter in my hand. I have a Float Stone. I mean, I have a lot of things I can do, and my opponent still hasn't taken a prize. So we were able to survive the early game without my opponent taking a prize, and I think that might actually be what allows me to stay in this game. We see a 3-energy Buzzwole come down. If my opponent... Okay, I guess he's Cynthia'd. Yeah, I think he's Cynthia'd. So he can't Acerola. Otherwise, I'd be very, very scared, because then he would essentially just have completely mitigated my last turn, the last damage. And now he's going to, with all the power-ups, I'm pretty sure Absorption GX, actually 100% Absorption GX would be able to knock me out, because even if he didn't have the power-ups, he'd be able to do that. But Metagross is actually not safe, and it will get one-hit knocked out, I believe. We see the Float Stone come down, so that's just not good. It's actually very, very bad. And is he going to be able to knock me out with just a Jet Punch? Actually, he just goes for the Absorption GX, I think. Goes 50, 60, 70, 90. No, not quite. He would not have been able to. Okay, never mind. I just mathed wrong. But, okay. So, Metagross is not going to be able to one-shot the Buzzwole, even with a Choice Band. I'm going to put this back in my deck because I want to save that for an Ultra Necrozma. Oh boy. So... this is not good. Is Metagross going to get knocked out? Because I think I just have to attack him and try to get more set up in the background. So let's go ahead and Geotech Systems. Yeah, I mean, I guess what my play is try to set it up to where I can just pick off multiple Buzzwoles with my Necrozma-GX's GX attack. That's kind of what I have to set up for, as I'm not going to be able to take the Okos, and this is starting to look kind of bad. So I could Algorithm, but I think, actually, let's just go ahead and Field Blower, get rid of both of those, or get rid of that. Sorry, not both of those. Just get rid of that off of the Buzzwole and hit it for 150, because right now, because he used the Absorption, he's not going to be able to Oko me, because that's 180, 200, 210, 220. Ooh, if he gets a Choice Band, then that's bad. Okay, he does Acerola up. I mean, that sucks, but that's not the end of the world as long as he doesn't have a Choice Band. We just see him play down the Buzzwole and the Strong Energy. So, oh, thank the Lord. He does not have the Choice Band. If he had the Choice Band right there, I'm pretty sure I just lost. Like, I think no questions asked, I just lost that game. We're able to get the Beldum into a Metang, and now this is what I'm talking about. This is 100% what I am talking about. So I'm going to be able to retreat out, but actually let's first play the Ultra Necrozma, because that's probably what I'm going to be attacking with this coming turn. Psychic that boy up. And then we manually retreat out our Metagross into Ultra Necrozma. Because Photon Geysers, I mean, just a single energy Photon Geyser is going to be enough to knock out this Buzzwole. And now we can play our own Energy Denial by Max Potioning up that Metagross, essentially mitigating his last turn. And meaning that the 3-energy Buzzwole that he spent multiple turns powering up is now just going to go down with essentially having done no damage. So... well, I mean, okay, never mind. It took out my Ultra Necrozma, but its big, just a big 3-energy attack onto my Metagross is now mitigated, and unless he's able to, if he's able to Guzma up my Metang on the bench, then I'm in a very bad spot. But uh-oh, Beast Ring. SOS, SOS, SOS. This is not good. Oh boy, he's gonna be able to one-shot me. And I just kind of had to bank on the fact that I'll be able to draw... actually, he won't be able to attack this coming turn. I mean, he'll be able to knock me out, that's a given. but he's not going to be able to attack the following turn. And I think with 3 Metagross on the board, he doesn't even end me, so I'll be able to get this Metagross up and end him down to 2. Uh-oh, we see the Beast Energy as well. So this is very not good. I think I might just... Yeah, I'm definitely... The Beast Energy puts him over the top. He's going to be able to do 250 in one shot of Metagross. So I cannot possibly allow him to just have that for free. So what I'm going to do... Play the Metagross. Do I want to end or do I want to play down a Vulpix? Because I have 3 Metagross now. I think I'm just going to play down the Vulpix, just kind of put it up as a sacrificial lamb. Because I just need him to not get 2 prizes this coming turn. And, okay, so I get... This I can work with. Let's Beldum. This is tricky. So what I can do... Yeah, I mean, he's going to be able to, I think, hit for 250. Was that what he was able to hit last time? So there's 50... That's 210, 220, 230. Yeah, that is 250. Yeah, he did hit for 250 the last turn. That's right. So I cannot allow him to... I'm going to force him to have the Guzma. Yeah, I'm going to force him to have the Guzma. I mean, if he has the Guzma, I lose anyway. So let's just try to put myself in the best situation possible. Let's put an energy onto Vulpix so that I can manually retreat it out next turn if I need to. And then let's grab the Ultra Necrozma because I need that in order to be able to one-shot the Buzzwole. And I just have to pray that he does not have the Guzma. Because if he has Guzma, it's game over. He's going to be able to one-shot my Metagross. But if he doesn't, then I have a very good chance. Because I do have 3 Metagross set up. And actually that's not quite enough. I need... Actually, no, because I have the Guzma, I'll be able to one-shot the Lele. So yeah, 3 energy is all I need. Ooh. Oh boy, there's the Choice Band. So he just retreats into Lele, so I need... Oh, you are beautiful. You are gorgeous. So I top-decked into the Rare Candy. And actually, you know what? I would have been able to knock out the... Would have been able to knock out a Regirock anyway, so it really didn't matter that I drew into that Rare Candy. But what I'm going to be able to do is I'm not going to make the mistake I did last live and then do the wrong order. I'm going to retreat into Metagross, Guzma up the Buzzwole just for style points. Like I said, if I did not happen to get that last Metagross, I would have been able to just bring up a Regirock and knock that out for 2 prizes. But then again, he would have been able to just put the Buzzwole up too. So actually, you know what? I take that back. That top deck of a Rare Candy was absolutely insane. Like, if I didn't have that, I would probably lose. So, yeah, I will admit I had some very good top deck luck right there, as I am able to just Geotech System 4 times. I have 4 Metagross GX set up. Let that sink in. I have 4 Metagross GX on the field right now. And my opponent has nothing that's going to be able to one-shot my Necrozma or any of my Metagross. Like, that's... I mean, this is probably the most beautiful board you could honestly hope for, except maybe put another Ultra Necrozma in place of that Vulpix. Like, this is gorgeous. I'm pretty sure I win the game, because unless he has a Choice Band... he needs Choice Band DCE to win the game. But we haven't seen Choice Band up to this... Or we haven't seen Choice Band. We have seen Choice Band. We haven't seen DCE up to this point. And yeah, my opponent does just concede, so... Wow, able to pull that out. Thank you, N, and thank you, Top Decking. That was insane. Like, that was a very insane game. I will 1,000,000,000% admit that I got lucky towards the end of the game. But regardless, we were able to pull off 4 Metagross and have an Ultra Necrozma set up. So, I mean, this game is honestly exactly what I wanted to showcase. Actually, you know what? He wouldn't have been able to knock me out either, because Buzzwole would have only done 240 damage if I had knocked out a Regirock. So, I mean, okay. I guess unless he drew into a Choice Band, then I won anyway. Sorry, I'm just, like, thinking about that endgame and how that played out. But, yeah, I mean, that was one heck of a game. I think I'm going to end the live there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.